Hey folks, welcome back to the Darren Harris program. I am, of course, your host, Darren Harris, and today is my 13th episode. That's right, episode number 13, and it is Friday. Yeah, I let my podcast, if you didn't realize, my podcast, the new ones come out every Friday, and today is my 13th episode on this Friday, so I guess in essence, it is Friday the 13th here at the Darren Harris podcasting facility, which is, of course, my apartment. So, yeah, Friday the 13th today. Today on the podcast, though, we're going to be talking about something that I've been wanting to talk about for quite some time. I was going to do a more lighthearted podcast today because I know the past few podcasts have been kind of doom and gloom, but this is something that I do think that needs to be discussed and talked about. And you know, I'm open for any discussion for any podcast. If you listen to any podcast, you can drop a message in my DM, and I'll if I'm able to get to it, or when I get to it, I will address them online. If you have some questions, or like I said, if you want to try and be on the show or something like that, maybe we can arrange that, because I know that I don't cover everything, and I know that some people may have other opinions than the opinion that I might have. So that's something that I want to be really conscious about, which is the thoughts of other people in conjunction with the thoughts that I may have, because I'm not perfect, and I don't make any kind of policy. So, but I do have a pretty strong opinion about a lot of things, and this is one of them. So today we're going to be discussing human trafficking, because it's a fucking problem. just put it out there like that. It's a problem all over the world. There are currently about 25 million people all over the world that are being trafficked. So I'm going to be talking about that today to try and figure out what can be done here in this country, or what is already being done, and what can be done worldwide, and what is already being done. So stay tuned, and we are going to be talking about that. But up first, I want to give out a big shout out to Will Smith for bouncing back, for trying to bounce back anyway. He is apparently making a sequel, which he is producing, to I Am Legend, which I thought that movie was great. Some people don't seem to be really happy about it, but a lot of people seem to be very supportive of it, which I am very supportive of it. I would like to see him get past this. And Chris Rock also. I mean, I like both the guys, so I really do hope that soon that they can put the kibosh on whatever beef they might be having. So, I really would like them to maybe one day, maybe be able to sit down and talk. Me personally, I think Will should leave Jada. I know I really don't, I don't really advocate for people leaving out of their relationships, but if it's toxic like that, man, Will, bounce, brother. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to sit around for that shit, dude. You really don't, man. I mean, you a smart brother, of course. We've seen what you've done. The whole world has seen what you've done. You are an intelligent brother. You don't need that, man. You know what I'm saying? I know you love your wife. You want to do whatever you can to please your wife, but there are some things. There are some lines that you got to draw, man. Even with your wife, and that to me is one of them. But I do want to give you a huge shout out, man, for trying to get past this and taking some time off out of the limelight to heal, because it's something that I mean, everybody's still talking about it. People still healing from it. I mean, you got other comedians making jokes about it now, and it's just Will Smith has become the butt of so many jokes, and this brother is clearly a troubled brother. You know what I'm saying? So, my thoughts and wishes are that everybody, I'm not giving him the pass for what he did, but I would like to ask everybody to put themselves in his place. Everybody wants redemption. So, to ridicule somebody, that's like the American way. Somebody screws up one time, you ridicule them. But if you screw up, you want to make amends. So I think that, especially, all the good times that he has given us, that brother needs another look, man. Everybody needs to forgive that brother. You know what I mean? And I know it probably take a little while for Chris Rock to kind of get over it, and rightfully so. But I do think at the end of the day that both both of them are highly intelligent dudes. They are, they and also they black dudes in Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that camaraderie should, we should try and stick together. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to, again, shout out Will Smith for, trying to, maintain his career. You know what I'm saying? Because so many like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, they shit is over. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe Johnny Depp might be able to bounce back, but Amber Heard, her shit is over, man. I'm sorry. It's going to be hard for her to bounce back. She's going to be in some crazy-ass B movie in like 3 or 4 years where she got to show her titties or some shit like that just so she could get a little bit of burn. But I don't see her coming back from none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But for Will Smith to try and, this is, of course, this was not that, but, like I said, everybody wants to try to ridicule people, for making mistakes or doing whatever it is that they do. But everybody wants to make that amends with people. And I think Will Smith definitely deserves that. So hats off to you, brother. All right. This week's Dope Shit Award, man. I love stories like this. I love things like this because, it makes me think about my father. My father's an educator, and if I didn't already preface that like earlier in earlier podcasts, that my father taught at Eastside High School for like 35 or 40 years, which is in Paterson, New Jersey, which was a very, very, very tough high school, which my father was very well respected in town and is an upstanding citizen. And stories like this just make me think about him even more so because he's an educator. And today I want to give the Dope Shit Award to Ashley. I hope I'm saying her name right. I had another smart girl, but this girl right here, man, Ashley Adrika, Adrika, Ashley Adrika. She is a 17-year-old Florida teen who got accepted to not one, not two, but all 8 Ivy League schools. She did the damn thing, and she is her mother moved here to the United States 30 years ago from Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? And that's even more beautiful. I mean, like I love to see beautiful black people thrive, man. I love to see that. You know what I mean? Because back in the slavery days, I've been hearing this a lot lately too. It's been in real prominent because I have another podcast that I'm working on also. But back in the days, we couldn't learn. Black people couldn't learn. If they caught you learning, they cut your tongue out, or they killed you, or they made it so you could not learn. You know what I'm saying? And that was part of the way that they were able to maintain slavery for such a long time, is to deny us education. And to see somebody, at this age, she's 17 years old. She graduated from Miami Beach High School, and not only did she get accepted to all 8 Ivy League schools, she also got accepted to 7 other top tier colleges like Stanford, like a bunch of other colleges. This girl is, she is going to be something. She chose Harvard. She went to Harvard. She's going to Harvard, and she wants to work in government, but she could have went, like, literally could have went anywhere she wants. And she joins a very, very esteemed list of people who get that opportunity or get that or who are accepted to. The list is very short for people who get accepted to all 8 Ivy League schools. And now she is on that list, and congratulations to her, because I think that is the dopest shit right there. Because we are already at a deficit as it goes. As a people, we are already, we're not on the same playing field. Just speak it. You know what I'm saying? So to see somebody do this, it warms my heart like you would not imagine. So I really want to give her the award, and I really wish her the best of luck. Excuse me. I wish her the best of luck in whatever she does go on to study. And this girl, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. People like that, they change the world. This girl is going to change the world. You know what I'm saying? And I hope her family is, I know her family is just, super proud. I would be proud. So, I hope that more of this happens. I want to see more of this, and that's what it is. Our race, my race, I don't want to turn this into a whole racial thing, but, my race, we need to step our academic game up. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of us that are already. I think I did another story about another sister that is also very smart that went on to get accepted to something, either a young boy or something like that, who was very young, who went on to do some big things in college, got accepted to college really young or something like that. So I do like to see that. So hats off. Congratulations. That's dope shit. All right, folks, on to the next thing. This week in my earbuds, what am I listening to? I'm not listening to anything specific. Actually, I am listening to something very specific, but very not specific at the same time. I've been listening. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this, but I watch NPR News or listen to NPR News a lot. But I also, one of the reasons I listen to NPR News is because they have this NPR Tiny Desk concerts. And let me tell you, if you have not seen any of these concerts, you can either log on to NPR.com or you can actually see them on YouTube as well. I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing that, but you could also catch them on YouTube as well. But there are these Tiny Desk concerts, and they kind of remind me of, old school MTV Unplugged, except for it's not exactly unplugged. It's just small. It's like set up like somebody's cubicle office at NPR, but what they do is they got a piano back there and they bring, I've seen everybody from Anderson .Paak to Mac Miller. The dude, it was a guy I was listening to today. Let me see, what was his name? And this is how I find a lot of my music also. This guy's name, the earbuds, where is it at? Earbuds. Oh, yeah, Larry June. This guy, Larry June. I mean, usually most of the earbuds, I know the artists, you know what I'm saying? But I've never heard this guy, you know what I'm saying? And that is one of the good things that I really do like about the NPR Tiny Desk concerts is they do turn you on to so much music that you ain't never heard before. Like good music, young people. I mean, like especially nowadays, we turn the radio on, and what do we hear, man? We hear a lot of the same shit, the same 8 songs, the same type of beats, you know what I'm saying? But, there are very few, musicians left, people who actually study music and play music. I mean, I used to work at a club, and there was this band there, man, that they played real music, you know what I'm saying? They played real urban, real black music, you know what I'm saying? It was a delight to listen to, organic black music. And, I'm not saying that NPR is all black, because it's not, because I've seen so many. I mean, I saw Billie Eilish on there today. I've really never listened to any Billie Eilish, and, her Tiny Desk is really the first thing that I came upon, and it was dope. I saw Thundercat. It's just like, and it's like a little concert. It's like, it really is like a little mini concert. You get turned on to so much music by this I guess this service that NPR provides to get new music out. So, and a lot of it is independent music. People aren't signed by like major labels, people producing shit out of their garage. I love it. And it's just, it's good for music. It's good for real music, and it's good for music lovers, especially if you some people are like, oh, I don't like that, I just like this, or I don't like that, I like this. Well, I like everything. I don't care what it is. I like country. I'll listen to some metal. I'll even listen to some death metal. If it's good, there's a reason that people listen to somebody. Now, maybe death metal might be pushing it, but there is some artistic value to all music. You know what I'm saying? And I'm willing to give that up to everybody. And in that, I'm willing to give everybody a try. And Tiny Desk is a good way to give everybody a try. Now, I have yet to see some death metal on Tiny Desk, and I think it's might be several more years down before they start having to resort to that. But for right now, you can catch some really dope acts. I mean, I saw Bilal, The Roots, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott. Oh man, so many good people, man. Tom Misch, just so many good people that you just would never think, get down like this. I mean, it's some people that you hear on the radio, but it's a lot of people that you don't. And I think it's really awesome. And also, I just want to really also give them a shout out as well, because, they have turned me on to so much good music that, that's where I go to if I want something that's going to wow people. If I'm having a party or something like that, I usually resort to the music from there, because it's a lot of music that nobody's heard. It's really good music for to set good vibes to. And a lot of music it's up tempo. It's danceable music. It's fun and it's educational at the same time. So, if you have not checked it out yet, I highly recommend checking out the NPR Tiny Desk concerts, either on NPR.com, or you can also check it out on YouTube as well. So, I'm going to take a quick break, and when I come back, we are going to do the strain of the week, folks. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Let me pay some bills, and I'll be back. Peace. Hey, folks, today's program is being brought to you by Your Pleasures Erotic Health and Wellness Boutique. Your Pleasures has a wide variety of adult educational materials, top-notch adult novelties and clothing, real-world dating and relationship advice, and more. Pleasures, that's Your Pleasures, not only focuses on erotic pleasure and satisfaction, we aim to educate people about the health and wellness benefits of intimacy. We are here to prove that sexuality is not naughty, it's necessary. So stop by Your Pleasures, that's UR-Pleasures.com, and see for yourself. That's yourpleasures.com. All right, folks, I am back from my short hiatus, where we have to go and make sure that the lights and everything else stays on. So this week's strain of the week, of course, is brought to you by Leafly. I am a big fan of Leafly because it's educational for me. So, and I do have to, actually, my prescription is about to expire, so I cannot go back to being a criminal. So I will have to renew my prescription here shortly. So, but today's strain is called White Durban. It is sativa dominant. It's a sativa dominant hybrid, and it's fucking dope. It really is. It's higher in THC, around 23-24%. It was really cool, man. I had good conversation on it. Me and my wife, we just laid in the bed and, we just talked for hours. We were just talking, blah, 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 blah. We didn't even turn on the music. We woke up, I guess it was one Saturday morning. We woke up about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I packed us a bowl, and we sat there for a little bit, and found ourselves, it was 11 o'clock, and we were still laying in bed just talking about anything, just philosophizing and just talking about stuff. And it helped us. We got some plans made. We wrote a couple of lists and got up and got shit executed. It was actually pretty cool. It gave us a bunch of energy. So while we were out, we weren't like lethargic on some, like after we ate and want to go lay down, like most people, you eat and then you smoke and then you want to go lay down. This was quite the opposite. This was, let's go see this next and explore that over there. And I was down. So, we actually went to Universal Studios, and that was a whole lot of fun. So, it was energetic. Like I said, it was talkative, and also it was creative. There was a lot of creativity as well. And this is what Leafly has also said about it as well. And I can confirm that because it was all of those things and maybe a little bit more. It wasn't so great for pain. My wife said she got a bit of a headache, but it wasn't like a deal breaker or anything like that. It's very pungent. It's very skunky. It has the taste of grapefruit. It tastes kind of grapefruity, real citrusy, apricot-y. Citrusy, apricot-y, a little bit of tar, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it didn't do a whole bunch for my back, pain-wise. Maybe a little bit, but it wasn't really good for that. What it was good for was it was good for depression, and it was good for fatigue, and it was good for stress, and that's what Leafly also says. And it was actually good for him. And this is what I do: I go back and I once I get the strain, I go to Leafly and I look it up and I see what the reviews are, and then I go back and I check for those different attributes of the strains, and this one is pretty spot on. So again, it is called White Durban, and it's my strain of the week, my Leafly strain of the week. So if you're able to get out and get it, you can get on Leafly and search it, and it'll tell you if it's close by, if there's a dispensary that's close by that will carry it. So if you're able to, and if it's in your area, I highly recommend the White Durban. I'm going to take one more break, and when I come back, we're going to see what's popping this week. All right? All right, folks, welcome back to the podcast. I am joined now, all of a sudden, I'm joined here on the podcast by a very special impromptu guest that wanted to shed or have say their piece about human trafficking. So please I'm going to introduce my wife, Ivonne Harris, is on my podcast today. Hey, babe, how you doing?
Hey, babe, how are you? I'm good.
Okay, so we were talking earlier today, and actually we've been talking the past few days about, human trafficking and the issue that is plaguing our country. And I know that you are specifically concerned because you have, we have a daughter who's 18 years old, and now she is out in the world navigating herself through this treacherous thing we called life. So,
right. So the first thing I want to say is that it's real. It is occurring every day. There are constant people being arrested, and the one thing that I do want to say is just stay alert. Be aware of it. Just here where we live in Florida, it is, I think it was ranked like the 3rd in the nation.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. We are 3rd in the nation, as far as, human trafficking. I don't know what's happening. People wow with it down here. They just feel that they could take up people and, force them into whatever it is that they can, that they can make money off of these people, this other person. And I just think that that's kind of deplorable, but, we don't necessarily know, how that trend started, or, there are people out actually doing something about it, which, that's thankful. But California is the number 1 state, but we're number 3, which is, that's pretty significant.
Right. That's crazy. It's serious. It's real. I was reading a few articles. One of the articles was about how they are bringing these people from maybe from Mexico, I think is what I read, or Honduras, and they bring them here, and then they take them out to these fields. So they take them out to these fields and they treat them horribly, and then these people can't go to the police, right?
What are they doing in these fields though?
They're working. And so so they have them out here doing, this one in particular, this article was about, let's see, it said it's a major problem in South Oregon's illegal cannabis industry right now, because what's happening is that they put them out to work on these fields, and then they really don't pay them. They treat them like shit, basically.
Oh, right. And because they're undocumented people, they can't go to the police and report that.
Right.
Well, this now I think that might be a little different, which is also still a problem, because I'm not really sure now. If those people, I guess they are trafficked people, but they're immigrants that are coming to this country.
But they're still human.
Yeah, they're human, but they're coming to this country willingly. Some people are coming willingly, but under the promise that they're going to receive something, great by coming to America. They're gonna, you'll be able to work and so on and so forth. So they're coerced into these certain roles, and they're not really necessarily
Right. I know, I get it. There's another article that I read about young girls from China that were promised the dream here. We bring you to New York and then, you're going to live your best life. Well, no, because these girls end up in other states. And it was massage spas, a few massage spas, and they have them living in these spas.
Oh, at the booty tickle, babe?
Yeah, at the... I don't know if I can say that.
Babe, come on now. You sit here and you listen to my fucking podcast every day. You sit here.
So the massage spa to me is straight up the booty tickle. But now I'm upset because I just read what they do to these girls. But there's a few spas that are constantly doing this. So what they do is that they keep these young girls in there and they force them to have sex. And to me, it's not sex, right? It's rape, because
right.
Let's call it what it is. It's rape.
Yeah. Well, they're not. It's not consensual.
Yeah. So they're raping these girls daily. And I mean, some of it's group sex. So it's just a group of men just banging these girls out. And I mean, for what? They're humans. Why? My question is why?
For money.
I know, for money, but it's greedy ass people. And it's not even money. It's perverts. I mean, these are underage kids. Like,
right. I follow that.
What are we doing?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the statistic says that the most trafficked people, the age group of the most trafficked people is from 18 to 20, 18 to 20, 21. Those are the most. But that's not to say that, other people aren't trafficked, like older people and younger people aren't trafficked, because, I mean, they're snatching up kids left and right. I mean, it's, and not for nothing, it's not just, there's 25 million people around the world that are trafficked at any given time.
There are. And then also another thing is, parents, please watch what your kids are doing on their phones. That's really important because they are targeting these young kids. And, my niece and nephew, I worry about them because they're young and, they fall for, anything. Kids gravitate to attention, right? So if they're online and they see something they like, or someone, calls their attention, they're going to talk to this person, and now they're building a relationship behind your back, behind the parent's back. And you don't know, this person might be like, meet me here.
See, and that like you said, that's the main thing. And like going to not really, wanting to really jump ahead of myself, but going back to relationships, it's very important that you build and cultivate a very strong relationship with your children. Talk to your children. Let your children talk to them. Don't be afraid of, hearing the truth. And I know sometimes the truth hurts, but you want your children to feel comfortable opening up to you. You don't want them to hide things from you, because when they start, that's one of the things that they will hide from you is, online relationships with inappropriate relationships with people, on the internet, and like you said, they can, they'll eventually, form some sort of relationship with a person that they may not necessarily know, but they feel like they can trust. And that's one way that people are lured. Right.
Like you mentioned, we do have a daughter, and I always would tell her, watch your surroundings. Don't keep your headphones on and look down. Every few seconds, look behind you. And that's, I'm from Chicago. And so I took the CTA, I took the Metro, anywhere I'm at, and I would come home and, have to go to my car late at night. One thing is, please be aware. Don't have your headphones on and, looking down and just on the phone. You have to be aware of your surroundings, because I'm going to say something that happened to me maybe about a month or two ago. I went to Marshall's and I was at the store and I was, minding my business, and something told me look up, and I did look up, and I came across a gentleman and we made eye contact. I usually make eye contact with people, because especially if you're looking at me a certain way. And I was like, all right, now I was by the lingerie area, the pajamas and all that.
Right.
And so from where he popped up, I just, for a minute there was like, oh, this is kind of strange, but I didn't pay no attention to it, but I kind of did, I just kept I just kept shopping.
Right.
Now I go over by the pet section, minding my business, because that's what we do in Florida. We mind our business.
Right.
And so then another gentleman was approaching me, but the gentleman that I saw over by the pajama section and the lingerie section, he approached me from behind. So now I have one in front of me and another one behind me. Now, I'm not saying that they were coming at me, but I felt uncomfortable,
Right.
and it felt weird. What are these two men doing at the back of the store over here? So I moved forward. Actually, I moved to the middle of the store. I raised my phone, and I started taking pictures.
Right.
And they noticed that, and they separated. Okay. And then I was going to go up to the clerk, but then I have to admit, I didn't know what to do next. What do
Right,
I
you were a
do
little
next?
paranoid.
Yeah, I don't want to. Maybe they're shopping.
Well, I'll tell you what. You said you were in Marshalls. Marshalls. I mean, there's a lot of girls in Marshalls. A lot. I mean, I'm not saying that's like the human trafficking pickup spot, but there is a lot of girls in Marshalls. A lot, but there. I mean, and that brings me to my next point. How can we tell that someone is being trafficked? What are the signs that someone is being trafficked? We don't really. I mean, there are some things that they say, like people don't give you eye contact, or they act a little paranoid, or they don't really, they're afraid to approach law enforcement, or they have
showing signs of physical injuries and abuse,
right, or like they don't have any of their own possessions or anything like that, or somebody's always speaking for them or something, or it just doesn't. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I had to go through some training being a food and beverage manager, at a hotel. I had to go through some training about it, and they were, the training basically said that, but it also said that it could be something as simple as a grandfather with some unruly kids. So you never know. But if you do suspect something, always alert somebody, because worst case scenario, at least that's a set of eyes on somebody at a particular place at a certain time, just in case something comes back where you saw this person and that person is missing now.
Right.
So.
No, I get it. Yep. So. I
mean, I always watch the bulletin board on the wall at Walmart, the missing kids, because I know that's a lot of it, and that right there. I mean, my heart goes out to the families, and these people don't understand. You're looking at people as money, or as mules to carry your drugs, or sexual toys, or the free labor or whatever. But you're looking at this person as a disposable object, and instead of you've taken the humanity out of a person. And also, what you have done is not only have you taken that person away, but you've taken that person's family away also.
Right.
You have, people are still alive, that could make it, but there are so many people that did not make it, that there is no closure. These families don't know what happened to their.
There's still some missing. Well, they just rescued 70 kids, minors in Texas, way across Texas, Colorado, and it was another state. 70 kids. They were all underage, and they were being used for sex, and that's all kinds.
See,
of
that's
stuff.
just that. I mean, listen, there's a special place in hell for these motherfuckers. That.
Yeah, you don't even want to know.
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a special place. And I like I said, and back, I just cannot understand how someone could just, overlook the fact that you are using another person.
Yeah, I don't understand
as
that
something that's disposable, like a paper plate or like a tampon or whatever. You use it until and then you discard it without having any feeling or remorse for what you've done to this actual person.
Yeah.
You have mothers and you have sisters, but you can, how can you fix yourself up every day to go out and do this?
And is it worth it? Because these people get paid $900.
And listen, they always, and I'm gonna tell you what, you
get caught. Listen, and then what? What happened now? The person that gave you the $900, where are they at now?
And then you look at the mug shots, and these people always look so remorseful.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, man, I would never feel sorry for anybody.
I think sometimes I think the penalties are a little too mild. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah.
The penalties
did I say
are a
somebody
little too
just
mild.
got 40 years? No, I think that was I think I just said somebody just got 40 years. That's not enough.
I think we were talking about something else.
But then I saw something.
No. Oh, no. Yeah, you were talking about.
Yeah. But That's not enough. I think you should just listen. What
I
did
look
you
at-
do? We need to cut your dick off.
Yeah, I think castration.
That's a better word for it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go straight.
We'll go for straight cut your dick off. Okay, we can cut your dick off, but castration would I
Have
think.
you guys seen the Human Centipede? We can do that too.
Here we are in this human centipede. But I think the penalties may not. They need to clamp down a little bit harder.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think it needs to extend, and not only that, listen, not just the penalties. I think the rewards need to go up as well.
Right.
You know, I mean, because
That's
not
the
for
thing.
nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, some of these people making $900 to smuggle. You said
Well,
that.
I'll make $25,000 to find your ass. If I find you.
Well,
I
see,
get
not
money.
even see.
If
Fuck
I trick,
25,000.
no.
Fuck
But
25,000.
that's usually what a reward is. We'll pay you $25,000.
That's what I'm saying, in which, you know, motherfuckers ain't do. Listen, I'm telling you what. You know how you get these motherfucking human trafficking dudes? You say $1 million. You give away $1 million to turn in anybody who you think may be suspected in human trafficking. $1 million. Maybe it needs to be articulated, or the logistics of it need to be worked out a little bit better.
Because
but
they're gonna tax you on that.
I don't give a fuck. But $1 million is better than 25 grand, and that's more of an incentive, especially to a broke motherfucker.
Well, this is
whose homeboy might be some sort of pimp asshole.
Well, this is where I'm not understanding. You're getting paid $900 to take some people. I mean, they're humans. These people, they're going to get mistreated. And is it worth it? No, first of all, we shouldn't be selling humans, okay? We shouldn't even be doing this at all. But there's some sick motherfuckers out here, so this is going to continue to happen. I can say, what can you do? Be alert. I did watch this girl on TikTok that said they are in the parking lots at the mall sitting down, and they act like they're in the car just on their phone. What they're doing is there's several of them. So just next time you go out, just look in the parking lot. If you see a few people, one in one corner, the other one, 3 lanes over there at the parking lot sitting down. What they're doing is that they're waiting, and then they'll follow you and see how far you get. And so, like, that shit just irks me.
Listen, don't be afraid to just start screaming. You know what I mean? No matter where you're at, don't be afraid. If you see like 2 or 3 motherfuckers just kind of eyeing you or whatever,
hot
just
right now.
Tampa is a hot spot. Or Orlando is hot. Orlando is hot. Tampa's hot. Miami is hot. Florida is fucking hot. You know what I'm saying? With that shit, and they need to, they need to clamp down on it. It just needs to be clamped down on it, and the way we clamp down on it is we talk about it more. You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely want people to
see something, say something.
Yeah, if you see some shit that looks at it, don't be afraid to be like, look, I think this motherfucker over here is seedy. I think he got a couple of children over here he ain't supposed to have. You know what I'm saying? But, at the same time, don't just run out here, willy-nilly thinking you fighting crime.
But then you can't, like me. What happened to me at Marshall? I couldn't. Were they truly, onto something, or were they just?
You don't necessarily have to say anything about the dudes, but I would pull a supervisor to say, listen, I think that you should be, maybe you might want to be a little more cautious about the people that are walking around in here. Because some of I would just say some people make people feel uncomfortable while they're shopping in here, or something to that degree.
Right. Well, you being a manager, have you ever seen like an instant where you felt like, hey?
Oh yeah,
shady?
I've seen. Listen, I was a bartender at a place one time, and there was a lady, and she had just came. She had never been to New York, and I'm standing behind the bar, and she had just got there, and she had her wits about her. She was on a almost like a business vacation. She had 2 days of work to do, and then she had 3 days to kind of let her hair down and let her hair loose in New York, and that's what she was about. And she was very professional. So she came. She had a couple of cocktails, like 2 cocktails. Like 2 cocktails, literally 2 cocktails, not strong cocktails, like a vodka cranberry. 2 cocktails. And she was, like I said, an older lady, with her wits about her. So I wouldn't have any reason to think. So about maybe a half an hour later, it starts to get really busy, and we're really busy. So the bar picks up, and I notice that the same lady is over in the corner, and there is a guy, and he has her skirt up around her waist, and he's trying to take advantage of her, and she is a puddle of like oblivion, just don't know where, doesn't know where she's at or anything. And immediately I went back over there and I called my supervisor, and I was like, hey man, this dude's over here. He wasn't here. This lady walked in here. So we, were luckily we were there, but we shooed him away. But we ended up calling the ambulance for her because she was all the way out of it. She had been, yeah, man.
That's crazy. See?
Yeah. So, people are trying, people roofing people.
That's another thing. There's actually a company, well, not a company, a not-for-profit organization, I think. And let me see. It's called, I can't find it. What's the actual name? But I just want to give them a shout out. First of all, I need to know the name. But sorry. Oh, I'm not ready. But what they're doing is that they're contacting.
What are they doing?
Okay. Well, so what they're doing is that they're trying to.
Don't read it. Just
make people aware where I got, so I can remember. Okay. Yeah. So okay,
just go ahead. Just do it.
Okay, so they can make people aware at so they want to train the people at the bars, restaurants, and wineries.
Right.
They want to train their job is to train the staff there to be alert and to kind of look at what to look out for when they
all
the
different signs.
All the signs. They
kind of certify them to find the signs of human trafficking, and there are a lot of signs.
Right.
And I being in that business, I think that is like absolutely incredible. To have that added knowledge because, like I said, standing behind the bar for such a long time, I can look at an ID and tell if it's fake. I can look at a dollar bill and tell if it's fake. I can look at people and tell if they're intoxicated. It's against the law to serve anybody who's visibly intoxicated. So I can look at people and tell, but that's come with training, basically being trained for that. And I think that people can be trained to spot signs of human trafficking as well. So.
Well, yeah, and I think there should be more of that. When I read, they said only 8 local businesses were doing it. I think that more businesses need to do this. It's really important. We can save lives. I definitely want to take a training so I can, know the signs and what to look out for.
Absolutely. If I could, like I said, I know I've had some training and I know some of the things to look out for. But what it is also is not only knowing that, but being conscious outside of your own world. Right. So that you can be sensitive to that type of stuff where you can actually pick that up, where you can see, yeah, this looks kind of funny, or I've seen this, because there's been situations, where, you see something that doesn't exactly look right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always, trying to be conscious, even though, the rigmaroles of, the everyday kind of, are kind of here every day. I'm still trying to get it to the point where I can look around and me, if we go into a restaurant, I sit and I look at my environment like.
Well, yeah, you're always facing the door, which is great.
Well, I just want to see anybody who's coming in or anybody's leaving, or I just want to get a good perspective on the whole room because I like to watch the environment.
In case some shit pops off, we got to take off running.
Absolutely, which I've had to do that also. I've had to be like, hey, yeah, I think that motherfucker's over there about to start some shit over there. Yep, told you, look at that motherfucker. Yep, run, motherfucker, run. Yes, I've been right there, and that's, like I said, and being in this business, or being in the food and beverage industry and being in nightclubs, I have seen a lot of instances where it could be, these motherfuckers might be trying to take this bitch,
right.
So you have security, but what do you do in the real world? Is what I'm saying. The nightclub, even though it's a nightclub, it's a confined area with security. The real world is the real world. You could be caught someplace, by yourself in the middle of the night, with a broke down car.
Yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, what the fuck do you do? I'm a big fan of having being prepared no matter what. Always. Especially a lady, I'm a big fan of ladies.
Have a shank with you. I always had a screwdriver in the car.
Have a shank with you. Listen to Chicago right there.
One thing, I I did always keep in the car is a screwdriver, one on each side. We get out the car. I would always tell my daughter, especially on road trips, be aware. This is where they like to snatch us. And I'm not even playing. That's what, you have to be aware. So you get out the car and just have that in your hand. It's sad to say that, but can you really trust anybody nowadays? No.
I'm going to tell you what. You can't be afraid. If God forbid that.
But you can be ready.
That's what I was just about to say. God forbid something happens to you or to a person. God forbid that it gets down to the point where somebody has stalked you and all of a sudden they are now in a position where they're about to physically they're grabbing on you. Have something. It is okay to bite the shit out of a motherfucker. Bite his finger off.
I'm sure. I'm coming for the ankles.
Yeah, some Chihuahua style, right? My Chihuahua style is better than yours.
No, but it's true. You have to be ready or at least know what to do in case I would hope no one's ever in this situation, but just you have to be prepared, right? Fight. You're going to have to fight.
That's the main thing. You're going to have to fight for. You're going to have to fight. But part of the fight is being aware, and just a lot of that is being aware of your surroundings. So, that is half the battle. It is being aware of your surroundings and don't trust everybody. You ain't got to trust everybody. You know what I'm saying? Be friendly. You ain't got to be an asshole, but you ain't got to trust everybody. Oh yeah, we're going to go over here to such and such. Oh, you want to ride with us? Nah, motherfucker, I think I'll catch an Uber myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, very true. And even Uber, you see what's been happening, but that's different actually. No, they don't.
Well, it could be anybody. You know what I mean? It could be anybody, but the Uber driver, he want to keep his hustle.
Yeah, he can't do it because he can't snatch somebody.
Yeah, because what kind of rating you gonna get after you snatched a motherfucker?
Yeah.
So.
But what we're saying is just be aware, be alert.
And just be aware and be alert. And again, folks, I cannot stress enough that this is an absolute epidemic in our country, and something has got to be done about it. And the first thing that I think that can be done about it is have more open dialogue about it. The more we're talking about it, the more everybody begins to recognize it, and the more we recognize it, the more we begin to catch it, the quicker we can probably stop this. So maybe get some of these people returned home. Or get some of these families some closure. So. I'm a proponent of seeking out justice for people, and I think that if we are all educated a little bit more and we do our due diligence, we can probably bring some of these people home. So stay tuned. At the end of the podcast, I will have some information where you guys can log on to the National Human Trafficking Hotline. I'll have that information for you at the end of the podcast. But I want to thank my wife, Ivonne Harris, for sitting in on my podcast.
Of course, anytime.
I love you with all my heart, and I'm going to take a break right now. And when I come back, I'll have relationship goals. You are listening to the Deron Harris podcast. All right, folks. Welcome back. So that's, of course, what's popping this week. My wife, she wanted to join in, so it was kind of impromptu. But we, like she said, we have a daughter, so we want to try and keep our kids safe. So, and I hope that some of the things that I said, helped people, or if anybody is in earshot of this, that it can help. Man, I really hope somebody is listening to this. I really hope somebody who can make, a change. If it's just one person, one person that can break free, or one person that can survive this. You know what I mean? And then I feel like, that's a huge accomplishment. So. All right, folks, this week on relationship goals. Last week on relationship goals, what it was the focus was on personal hygiene. All right, the personal hygiene. And what do I mean by that? Yeah, personal hygiene, man. Get it together. I wanted to dress nice and look nice and for my lady. Now, it wasn't every day, but there was a couple of days I had to pull the stops out a little bit. You know what I mean? She told me, she smacked me on the booty one day. She'll never do that. So she smacked me on the butt one day, told me I look good. So that mission accomplished as far as that was concerned. I definitely wanted to I don't want to fall into the I don't give a fuck about myself phase or the letting yourself go phase. You know what I'm saying? Because once you let yourself go, it's hard to get yourself back. So try not to let ourselves go, and doing a really good job at it. She's still over there doing her yoga and Pilates and, studying for her holistic coaching test, because that's what she's moving towards. And I wish her the best of luck with that. But this week on relationship goals, I got to thinking about some things. There were some, again, like I said, you have to know what you want. You know what I mean? You have to know what you want in your relationship. And what I mean by that is exactly that, knowing exactly what you want. Write it down if you have to. This is for somebody who is not particularly in a relationship at the current moment. Write it down. You know what I'm saying? What do you want? What are the attributes you want? I want a girl with blonde hair, or I want somebody with voluptuous lips, or I want somebody that whatever it is, write it down. Get clear on what it is that you want, because the problem is so many of us are jumping at anything. We're attracted to this person. We're attracted to this person for, really physically is what we're attracted to initially. That's what brings us close to people or makes us want to get to know people more. It's just the physical attraction to that person. But what happens is like I said before, you're not really meeting that person. You're meeting that person's representative. So by the time a lot of us figure this out, we've spent some time with this person, and all of a sudden it doesn't work out, and then all of a sudden, we don't understand why it didn't work out. And one of the reasons it didn't work out is because we were not clear on what exactly we wanted in this relationship. And this week's relationship goal is focused on asking for what you want in your relationship. Ask for what you want. If you don't have a relationship, write down who you would like to be in a relationship with. What's the person like? What is that person like? You know what I'm saying? How would you fight? You know what I mean? How would you do, all these other things? How would you do these things? Who is this person? What I don't like liars. I don't like thieves. I don't want anybody to cheat on me. I want somebody who's emotionally available, et cetera, et cetera. Write all these things down. Write these things down. Commit them to your memory. And then don't bend. You know what I'm saying? Don't bend. Don't settle. You know what I'm saying? You write about 10 or 15 things down. You take 5, and them 5 things are must-haves. You can't lie. You can't cheat. You can't da-da-da-da-da-da-da, whatever. But must-haves. And those are straight-up deal breakers. I don't give a fuck how fine you are. If you a fucking cheater, I can't be with you. I don't give a fuck how fine you are. If you trying to rob, Bank of America every couple of days, I can't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So in that, be specific about what it is you want. Like, what would you do for this person? What would you try and get this person to understand about you? And in that, you start trying to live as that person. You know what I'm saying? Be that person that you want to attract. You know what I'm saying? Be that kind person. If you want somebody that's emotionally available, then you yourself needs to be emotionally available. You know what I'm saying? So get clear. Ask yourself for what it is that you want. Write it down. And then go out there and start living your life. And you'll be surprised at how much bullshit you weed through and you start to actually find quality people. You know what I'm saying? You start finding quality people once you get clear. Once you get out of nightclub phase, once you get out of drinking till you can't stand up and then waking up next to somebody you don't fucking know phase, you know what I'm saying? Then it starts to fucking matter after a while. You know what I'm saying? You can't go through your whole life like that. So you have to get clear eventually in order to form that relationship that you want to last forever. Like, I want my relationship to last forever, so I need to be clear. Now, this is for somebody who is in a relationship, and in which case this goes for me. Again, ask for what you want. If you have to, write it down. I ask my wife for what I want. If I want affection from her, I say, hey, baby, can you come over here and sit down with me for a couple minutes? I just want to talk to you for a few minutes. She'll tell you. You know what I'm saying? Usually, she gets up before I do because she has to be, at work in front of the computer. But she gets up before me. But, I tell her a couple minutes, before she gets up in the morning, we ain't even got to do nothing. You ain't even got to give me no treats. You know what I'm saying? I just want to hold on you for a minute. I just want to love her. I want to look at you in your face. If I want her to maybe run an errand for me or help me with something or whatever it is, or be there emotionally for me even. You know what I'm saying? I am not afraid to ask because sometimes they don't really understand. You know what I'm saying? I was going through something maybe last week or something like that, and my wife really didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? She didn't really, it wasn't that she wasn't concerned with it. She just didn't really understand it. And in that, she didn't necessarily know how to approach me to help me with this situation. You know what I mean? So what did I have to do? I had to ask her. I had to ask her for what I needed from her. You know what I'm saying? I had to tell her what I wanted. I had to tell her what I needed. And then she was able to provide that with me because then she understood. But sometimes, a lot of times, people don't understand. So you have to be clear. You have to get clear and start asking people for what it is that you want. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that's what this week's relationship goal is going to be on. Ask for what it is you want. I don't think it's too hard, especially if you love the person. And also at the same time, on the other side of that, be receptive. At the same time, open yourself up to your partner, for what they want. We may not always want to do what they want. Can you take the garbage down, or can you wash the dishes? Can you run to the store? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but you know what, though? Ain't nothing wrong with that. At least they're asking you. You know what I'm saying? Ask for what you want. Ask for the person that you want. They're there. They should be anyway. And if they're not, then of course you know the answer to that. Need to raise up out of there. So, well, I think that is going to do it for this portion of the podcast. Relationship goals. Those are the relationship goals for this week, which brings my podcast to a close. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get some information for you really fast because I want to help some people with the human trafficking. So I'm trying to, please bear with me. I'm trying to Google search the number that you can call trafficking. Okay. If you need help, okay. This is 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. If you need help, if you are able to broke away, anything, if you need help, the number is 1-888-373-7888. And that, again, is 1-888-373-7888. It is the National Human Trafficking Hotline. And, of course, always 911 works. You know what I'm saying? You know how you get 911 to respond? Scream and hang up the fucking phone. They'll be there in 2 minutes. They will triangulate whatever it is they got to triangulate, and they will find your ass. Scream and hang up the fucking phone. You know what I'm saying? Tell them, something happening, and hang up the fucking phone. So, all right, folks, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Deron Harris Podcast. Please join me again next week. Like I said, I'm really trying to do a more lighthearted podcast. I think I'm going to sit down and talk about my old profession. I'm a ex-food and beverage manager. And my buddy that I had on the show last week is also a food and beverage manager. And he actually had a good idea for a podcast for, I think, my next podcast, which is... we're going to talk about restaurant etiquette. A lot of motherfuckers don't have it. And that's the people who come there, the people who work there, and the whole gamut. So join me next week. If you are in the service industry, you're not going to want to miss this podcast. So again, next week we'll be talking about, restaurant work. and the bullshit that comes with it. So thank you again for tuning in to the Darren Harris program. I would like to thank my wife, of course, my best friend, and my producer, always, for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and feelings with the rest of the world. Please join me next week. I do appreciate you all, and this is something that is almost like a dream come true for me, because this is something that I've always been afraid to do because I didn't think that I could do it. And the outpouring of encouragement and well wishes from everybody, my friends, people who aren't my friends, people from other states. Thank you very much. I do want to thank you very much. And if there's anything that you want to hear again, or anything that I can do to make my podcast better, the content better for you, I would be wholeheartedly willing to jump at that chance. So please let me know. Leave any comments or anything in my DMs, and I will read them and I will apply them to my podcast. So until then, thank you very much, and you guys take care.